Hi, I'm Shiva. I rap about the stuff I like, and this week I've been playing Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core. To be fair, it's not the first time that I played it. I did play a little bit of the closed alpha when it just launched, and then I decided to play some other stuff, so I returned to Rogue Core only when it released in early access. There have been a lot of changes since then, and I think I can somewhat say that the launch of Rogue Core, while might look like it isn't much, it still is better than what we had during Deep Rock Galactic Early Access. In terms of content variety, maybe. I think when it just launched, we had like 3 missions. Collect some Nitra, collect the X, and something third that I don't remember. Anyway, Rogue Core. People have opinions. There are a lot of them. For me, I love it. Of course, it needs some work, but it's what's to be expected from early access. I suppose I should say some things that already have been said by a lot of other people, namely that timer adds a lot of pressure, that this game isn't for everyone, that I don't know, merits was a huge thing that needed to be changing. It got changed basically yesterday. Early access. What else can I say? Things are expected to change as they go on, and that's a good thing. But so far, I do like the synergy between classes. It's not as deep as it was in DRG, if we can even call the DRG synergy that deep, with the being mainly only trails or tools that help classes play together. But yeah, classes are amazing. I have played almost all of them except Falconeer. I did play her during the alpha. Back then, every single reclaimer had only one ability. It had changed since then, so now everyone has a passive, an active, some other stuff. And would you believe it if I said that that was one of my main feedback points? I have no idea if my feedback did help to bring more ability for reclaimers, or that planned from the beginning. I won't be taking credit for that, but I'm still happy that we got reclaimer abilities expanded. That's amazing. But, even though I love the abilities of most of the crew, one person that stands out is Redcon. She just feels like a solo player. That's it. Of course, by proxy, her abilities do help the team. I feel like she is made for solo play in general, and that's her main protagonist energy. Helps the team. That's just a byproduct of how good she is. Guardian protects the team. Falconer gives everyone free damage. So does the Spotter. And Spotter also helps people find a lot of stuff in the caves. Slicer makes for a good synergy with Guardian, because Guardian protects you from melee damage, Slicer from ranged. And what does Redcon do? She just kills everything. I don't know, but that doesn't stop her from being amazing. She's great, and yeah, me saying that she's more made for solo play is just a minor nitpick. I do love playing as her, and unfortunately I had to play as her because I had some internet problems at the start of the week. I think I already said that I love the pressure of this game. Compared to Deep Rock Galactic, we have a timer, and so because of the timer we have to hurry, we have to be on the clock, constantly make decisions if we want to take this upgrade or skip this event and just go straight to the next level. It's fun for me. I love that pressure. Of course, that's not everyone's jam, and if you like exploration of Deep Rock Galactic, that kinda doesn't exist in Rogue Core. Rogue Core is all about combat. You see people, you see demons, you shoot demons, they die, and that's about it. Speaking of demons, this premise reminds me a little bit, just a tiny little bit, of my glasses fell off. Of a little TTRPG called Stoneburner, which itself was inspired by DRG, and that's kinda funny. And there you manage a house Grand Rock and try to make it stand up from its knees, but the things that stand in your way are demons. And so we kinda got a circle. First we get DRG about dwarves in space, then TTRPG gets inspired by them, and in return, when said dwarves in space get a new game, they also got demons. Of course, it doesn't mean that Stoneburner was direct inspiration, but it's cool nonetheless that both games got something in common. Now I can yoink core spawn from DRG to use in my tabletop campaigns. That being said, I'm curious to see what we'll get later down the line when the community grows, because in DRG it's wholesome. Can we get the same level of wholesomeness in Iroko? Probably. It remains yet to see. But I do understand that because of the nature of the game, because that in order to succeed you need to be perfect.
You gotta be perfect! You gotta be huge!
Excuse me. What was I saying? Ah, right. Community. Dancing. Beer. There are beer workouts. If you didn't know there is beer in Core, there is beer. You just have to work for it. Visit Omega on the upper deck, so to speak. He'll give you some advice, some challenges. You beat them, you get your beer. I saw a lot of suggestions on the forums that maybe we should get awarded some beer currency to keep between runs, and I agree. To be honest, I do love working out before a run, but that's not for everyone. Again, it helps me pass the time while I wait for random people to join the crew, to join the lobby. But after a mission, unfortunately we have to work again if we want to drink some beer and have fun. It remains to see. Maybe it'll get changed, and I do hope it'll get changed. Maybe. We'll even get some new beers. Who knows? It would be extremely dope if Wormhole Special teleported us to the space trick. It would be funny. What else can I add? I've been yapping about things I like. Let's yap a little bit about stuff I don't like. Progression in general, meta progression doesn't feel fun, I guess. I do like that we can swap character decks, which are basically cool passives you can get during a run, between our claimers. That's neat. I did manage to play around with that. Got some extremely funny and busted builds because of that. But still, when it comes to chips, when it comes to merits, those are bad. Yeah, chips just don't feel as impactful as they could be. Then some nice things we can unlock, but I just don't feel like working towards them. They exist. I'm not hyped about unlocking new chips. I was hyped about unlocking new decks, but chips are painful. Hopefully we'll get some updates to those, or maybe entirely new systems. Another thing that we get after a match, besides chips, besides those little the passive upgrade points, are chips. No, wait. No. How are they called again? Scripts. Yes. We get scripts, similar to what we get in DRG, to be used on cosmetic upgrades. I understand that the lack of cosmetic upgrades at the current stage of development is okay and normal. I just would like to see more added in the future, as it will be, because it's early access, and so on and so forth. But the current cosmetic sheet is okay at best. I do like the customization that we get in there, but my main gripe, so to speak, is with how it's presented. Instead of cosmetic trees, how we get it in DRG, which are fun to look at, it's just square, it's just a rectangle. That's not fun. Maybe if we won't see any new cosmetics added soon, I do hope that we'll get some better visual representation. Not only just the cosmetic sheet, to be honest, of UI mostly as well. Right now it's simplistic, which isn't bad. It's just something I would like to see being worked on in the future. Right now it's serviceable. You can play the game and have fun. Speaking of other things fun, do not believe the forums. People in public lobbies, at least the ones I've met so far, are amazing. Playing with randoms is possible, especially when you get to deeper levels of the Hoxes. As deeper you go, the more people get experienced, because the progression of how you unlock levels is something I do like and enjoy a lot. You got little quests you can do when you select a mission, and they act as a sort of tutorial, and so it happens that the deeper you go, naturally you get more experienced people, and those friction points between you and your team just become non-existent, as everyone in the lobby knows what to do now. Rock core might be a little harder to get into than the RG, but it's still easy to learn. You can do it. I believe in you. Grab rock core and start playing. Reclaim the core! Join us! Oh, another thing that is fun that I couldn't properly test out in DRG are melee builds. Melee in Rockcore is amazing, not only as a slicer, but as every single reclaimer that we have, because the default pickaxe attack is improved for combat specifically. It's faster, it does more damage, and using the upgrades we have, we can also increase both the power attack and the regular hits. And if you get some upgrades during a run, well, everything is dead. Not a big surprise. Unfortunately, that can't be said about all the builds we can try out during the run. Current upgrades that we have, how do I call it? They feel more like statistical upgrades, like a little bit more crit, a little bit more electricity damage. That isn't bad, that's serviceable, but it can only take you so far. And fortunately, developers did say that we want to add even more fun upgrades, similar to the one that makes people explode. We just have to wait for it. Early access. Again, most of my issues with Rockcore fall into early access thingy. I suppose I'll play for a little longer, and similar to what I decided to do with Far Far West, I'll return to the game later instead of experiencing everything it has to offer right now, so I can still have something to look forward when the early access concludes. Even with that said, progression during the run feels cool and awesome. I wish the meta progression between runs was just as power trippy as during runs, but I'll deal with it. If I remember correctly, when Rockcore just launched in alpha, the main thing that developers told us was that they want us to feel more awesome during a run and not in between runs, and that's why they made cheap system somewhat boring, I guess. But the in-run progression, they nailed it. One of the fun things that I can add about the in-run progression is it's kinda connected. You get upgrades based on what you already have. If your gun deals acid damage, you will start seeing upgrades that are related to acid. If something in your arsenal deals fire damage, you can see more increases to fire damage, and so on and so forth. That's kinda cool. Those synergies are awesome, and that kinda incentivizes you to play with other people, because if something in your loadout doesn't deal set damage, you can still rely on your team for the help. The most obvious thing would be Falconeer, as she straight up gives everyone electricity, and if you have Falconeer, or Spotter, or Guardian on your team, anyone that can deal status effects really, you can safely pick the options for stun, for crits, for electricity. Your team will provide you with those things. Work together, create synergies, be amazing unit.
Reclaim the core!
Last but not least, yet another thing that I would love to see changed as the early access goes on is the cave generation system. Right now, main runs are similar to Morkite collection back in the RG, at least when it just launched, in a sense that you have a tunnel, you go through the tunnel, and that's about it. You have a couple of caves connected between the tunnel, but at the end of the day, it's still a tunnel. You go forward. That's about it. I would like to see more open spaces, similar to what we get in a Quark collection, for example, in a lot of egg collection generations. I do love myself more vertical levels. That gives us room to use our traversal tools, and in Rockcore they feel more like flavor and not necessity. That being said, I did see some vertical open space levels during the mode game called Gauntlet, similar to local deep dives, but they're still in development. I do hope to see one day that generation from Gauntlet would be ported over to normal runs, and yet again, we just have to wait and see. Early access, it'll come eventually. As for now, I'll enjoy what we have, and I guess I'll see you down at the Hoxes, Reclaimers. Remember,
If you don't rock and stone, you ain't coming home!
Rock and Stone reclaimers! Honor the code!
I salute you, reclaimer! Rock and Stone! If you don't salute
For the
last one to Rock and Stone
reclaimers!
pays for the first
Reclaim
round.
your core!
Stone! For those of us coming home!